So in today's class, we will learn about the pen tool, how to use the pen tool in Illustrator. Now, pen tool is really important part of Illustrator. Basically, it's something that makes Illustrator like a illustration-based application. The pen tool is the widely used tool inside Illustrator. So if you don't know how to use a pen tool, that means you have not learned the big part of Illustrator. So that's why it's very important and a lot of practice it requires. Okay, and today we will dissect this tool and see what this tool is all about. Okay, so I will just open up a blank window right now. Okay, and then I will demonstrate how this works. Okay, so the pen tool basically we have here is on this side. We have two different type of pen tools. One is the pen tool and other is the curvature tool. So we are talking about pen tool here, not the curvature tool. It's a different kind of tool. So we are more interested right now in the pen tool. So the shortcut is P. If you press P on your keyboard, you will directly jump here. Okay. In the pen tool, we have two options: pen tool and anchor point tool. Now, the shortcut for the anchor point tool is Shift C. And while you are drawing with the pen tool, you can still use this by pressing Control on your keyboard, okay, or Command if you're using a Mac. Okay, so here I'm using PC, so I will press Control whenever I need the anchor point. Okay, now let's see what are the different parts of this tool. So if I click here one time, okay, it will give me a next. It will just you can say anticipate the next point over here. Okay, so this line is basically an anticipation where the line will be created. If I click here now, so it will draw that line, and now it will anticipate where should be the next line. Okay, now one thing is really important here is that the color. Okay, now pen tool is basically works with two different color, fill and stroke color. Fill color is basically the color of when you will close any drawing with that you draw with the pen tool. So sometimes it annoys you if it is turned on the fill color, because your drawing is not completed and it's keep on showing you the fill color, which causes sometimes a little problem. Okay, for example, if my fill color is red and if I start drawing, so you can see it's creating the fill already, which I think is kind of annoying because you don't want the fill to distract you while you're drawing. Okay, so the best way, the best practice is that your fill color, you click on the fill color and you choose none from like the bottom from these three options. What does the none do? None will keep this transparent. There will be no fill. So I will click it over here. This is the stroke color. Stroke is the outline color, which is black, and that's fine with me. Okay. Other than that, here I have the stroke weight. One is a thinner stroke. You can go like less than one, which means hairline sort of stroke. Okay, which will be very thin, or you can go very thicker. Okay, but I will keep for my drawing one weight over here. Okay, so this is the weight, or you can say thickness of the stroke. So when I click here, as I told you, it will show it will basically anticipate where will be the next line. Okay, if I click, it will show me that the next line is created, and then it will again anticipate where will be the next the other line. I can keep on clicking one time. Okay, and when I will reach to my starting point and click on it, it will close it and it will become a shape. Now you can apply any fill color if you want, or if you don't want stroke, you can keep the stroke none, just like I did for the fill. Okay, what if I don't press one time here? Okay, sorry, what if I don't want to close it? Because if I will go back to my starting point, you can see that it shows a circle on my cursor. That means I'm closing. What if I don't want to close and I just want line? So what I have to do is that it's keep on drawing. So to end this, I have to press enter on my keyboard, and it will like complete this line. So this line is just a stroke, it's not a fill line. So I can now increase the stroke as I want, okay, or I can decrease it, okay. So it's up to you. So this is how you can make a shape, closed shape, or a opened line or stroke, okay. Open line is basically stroke. Now, instead of pressing one time on the screen, if I click my mouse and drag it, so you can see there is a handle drawn. Now this handle basically shows that you are not going to make a straight line, okay, because to make a straight line you just have to press once or without dragging. But if you click and drag, that means you are making a curve. Now if I leave my mouse, so the next anticipation here is not a straight line, it's a curve. So you can see this curve here, okay. Now just notice the length of this curve, how it is, okay. It's something like this. So if I will click here one time, it will end this, okay, and next it will be the straight. So if I will so let me do one thing, let me press enter here. Now just see handle, how big is it. Now if I will click here, and this time I will make it much more bigger handle, and now you can see the curve is more smoother. As bigger your handle is, your next line will be more curved, okay. Now instead of pressing one time, if I will press one, you will see that the next line is straight line because I just clicked once. But what if I don't let me delete all this. What if I don't press once, okay. What if I just press here, drag it, next I will not press once, and again I will drag it. So what it will do, it will curve the other end also, and the next anticipated line is also a curve, okay. So whenever you need curve, you have to click and drag, and these handle will define how smooth or or curved you want your line to be, okay. So now if I want to end, I can click here, make a curve again, and I can end by pressing enter, okay. Now let me make it a little thicker, this stroke, so you can see that, okay. So this is my stroke is created. Now I can fix it, or I can change my strokes again. For that I have to use my direct selection tool. When I press the direct selection tool, I can go to any point. These points are called anchor points. If I click on them, I will get those handles again, and I can reposition these handles, and it will reshape my curve. So this is how you can fix it. Now this part is, this line is known as line segment. How many segments there are? If can anyone just give a wild guess, how many segments do you think I have on my screen? Because right now it's like beginning, but I just asking like a wild guess. Maybe you can guess right now, what do I mean by line segment? Can anyone tell me how many line segments there are? Basically there are not three, there are two line segments, okay. Now what does the line segment mean? The line segment means here, this point and this point, between these 2 points there is one segment here. Now can you tell me how many segments there are? Segment is something which is between 2 points, 1 point here, 1 point here, so there is one segment here. So total how many segments I have? Total I will have 2 segments, okay. One is here between these two, and the next one is here between these two. So how many segments? There are 2 segments, okay. These points are basically anchor points, okay. Now these anchor points I have 3. So the one that you were talking about were the anchor points. So anchor points I have 3, but segments I have 1 and 2, okay. Now this handles, okay, are basically direction line. Okay, direction line means right now if I move it, so the direction of the line is changing. Okay, it goes parallel between that. Okay, so one will be going parallel to here. Okay, at if the this is the left part, this is the right. The left, the curve will be under. The right, the curve will be on the top. Okay, so you can see the curve is here and curve is here. Okay, so this is the direction. This is how the direction works. Okay, so if I move this, so you can see the direction is changing. So on the left, the curve will be under. On the right, the curve will be on the top. Now, these 2 points, okay, had the handle points, not that I'm not talking about the line because this is the line direction, but this point are the point direction. If I will make it bigger, the curve will get bigger. Okay, if I will make it smaller, the curve will become smaller. Okay, and if I move it, the direction of the curve will move. Okay, so everything is clear about the pen tool, how to draw and how it will create something. Okay, now we are going to move to our next part where we will draw some shapes with the lines and see how they are done. So I will close this one and I will go here and open my lesson 7 practice. Okay, so there are 6 different ways to draw with the pen tool here. There are maybe there are more than these, but these are basically the main drawing like categories here. Okay, now suppose here you will see that on this page number 1, you can see I have a crown. Now how to make this crown? I'm talking about the basic shape, not about these. Once you will learn how to make a basic shape, you can easily do this. Okay, this can be done with the shapes from here. Now I'm talking about the basic shape, which is the crown shape. How we can draw this? This is the most simpler one because it's all pointy. All pointy means it's all straight. So I don't have to click and drag because click and drag is only to create a curve. So there is no curve over here. Everything is straight. So here what I will do is that I will start from the starting point. Okay, let me zoom here and I will go and connect the dots. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So I will click here on 1. Now the next line should be on number 2. Okay, then the third will be here and fourth will be here. But one more thing, as I told you before, make sure your fill is not is transparent. There is no fill. Okay, because my fill was there, so it was showing me a white color. So make sure you do that initially, then in the end you can add whatever you want. Now I will go here on the 1, press on the 2, I will press here, 3 I will press here, 4 I will press here, 5 6 7, and now if I want to end, I can go simply here and press on where I started. Okay, and these smart guides will help me to align with the existing points. Okay, now I can go back here in the fill color and I can choose whatever fill I want. For example, I want a yellow fill, so I can choose the yellow fill and it will be filled with the yellow, and I can continue with my other tools and try to complete this drawing. Okay, is this clear? Simple way to do this. Okay, and how to adjust this? Let me undo the fill here. Now I can go with my pen tool, my direct selection tool, and once I will go, you can see that as this shape is closed, you can see these yellow dots. Oh, sorry, white dots. What are these white dots? If I click any one of this and move it down or up, it will kind of give a curve to my points. Okay, so that's what this is. If I want any one of it, so I will just double click it here. Okay, and then press, and then I can change it, so only one will be a change. Or if I want two at the same time, I will click one, press shift and click the other one, and then I will try. So only those which I selected will be moved out. So this is how I can create a nice little shape here. Other than that, what I can do here is that with the direct selection tool, I can select any one of the line, okay, and move around. Like this segment, I can move each segment on its own, or I can also move these points, okay, by clicking on the points, and I can move them in any direction I want. So that's the way you can help with your direct selection tool, and you can create things out of it. Okay. Now, this is how you do the drawing. Next is how we can create a straight line. Okay. Now here I want to create an arrow. Complete it. Okay. I will take my pen tool. Click here. Now, if I want to make sure my line is straight, because if you can see on the screen, it's not straight. Maybe I will click here. If I click here, can anyone guess, is it straight? No, it's not straight. It's a little bit inclined. How to make a complete 100% straight line? To create a 100% straight line, you have to press shift on your keyboard. And when you do that, you can create a straight line vertically, horizontally, or you can have a little angle over here, angle of I think 45 degrees. Okay. Now I want a straight line vertically, so I can move it up. Okay. Go somewhere here, and I will keep my shift key pressed, so it will create straight line. But here I don't want like 45 degrees, so I will leave my shift key and create line without shift key here as well. Okay. And then again I will press shift key and continue my line. Okay. Now at this stage, if I go somewhere here, okay, it shows me that there is a purple line which is intersecting with the line which is on number 1. So this is the best place if I want to close this shape. So I will click it here, go here, okay, and close it. And once I will close it, I will have this line. It's a little bit moved. Let me make it again. Okay. And now this is fine. Okay. So this is how you can create a straight line and you can complete a drawing. Clear? Any question so far? Okay. Now these were straight lines. Straight lines are easy to make. But what if we have something which is not straight, which is something like this? Okay, this is curved and it's curved like this. So how I can make this kind of curve? So in the beginning, I just showed you, I gave you a little bit demonstration what is how to make a curved line. But now let's do a practical on that. Okay. Now here I have number 1. And I have to start from here. Now, if you will see, there are arrows. This arrow shows that when I click and drag, the handle should reach here to these red dots. Okay, how? Just like this. If I press my mouse here, because I'm creating a curve, so I have to click and drag. And now, if you will see my selection tool, or sorry, the pen tool, the arrow is on this end. So this end, wherever there is an arrow, because not the one which is on the bottom one does not have the arrow, the one on the top have arrow. I will drag this one on the top and put it right in the center of this red circle. Now I will go to the other one, which is number 2, and to mimic this curve I have to press here and click and drag so it reaches here. Okay, and then when I want to end this drawing, I will press enter. And it will be done. But it was easy for us to do this because there were tracing points over there which helped us. Okay. But in reality, if you want to do that, just keep in mind you have to just click and drag, and as smooth you want your curve to be, you can drag out your handle. Like if I click here, keep on dragging it out, and to keep it straight I can press shift key on my keyboard so it will be straight. Now I can go to the other part. Now here, if I want something like this line, I will click and drag, and to keep it straight I can press shift key on my keyboard so it will not move left or right. And when I want to end this, I will just press enter. Okay, that's the way it is done. Now let's go and do it here, all these lines. Okay, now here my starting point is here. Now I don't have those arrows. These arrows I don't have it. Now if I don't have that arrow, how I can mimic this without the arrow? So simple. Click it, drag it, press shift on your keyboard so it will go straight. Otherwise it will just go left or right. So I will go a little bit straight. Okay, somewhere here. And now if I will reach here, I have to press and drag down with the shift key so it will keep it straight. And as soon it will I get my desired curve, I will stop, press enter on the keyboard. Okay, same way if you want to draw from right to left, it's the same process. You just click on the right point, press shift, drag it down. Okay, now you can go, oops, there is one thing I have done mistake. Click it, drag it down with the shift key, but see the arrow? My arrow should not be on the bottom. Wherever the curve is have the direction, it should be there. So my arrow should be on the top, not bottom, because if it is on the bottom part, the curve will be on bottom. Okay, now I will leave it, go here, press my mouse button, drag it with the shift so it will stay straight. Okay, just like that. But I think it's I added a lot of curve there, but it's okay. Okay, same thing I will do here. Click, then drag it here, then I will reach here to this part, click and drag to the opposite side, and I will have this, and then I will press enter. This is how you can create these kind of curves. Okay, so simple way to draw a curve. Now let's see some advanced way to draw a curve. Here, if you have more curve and connecting curve, not like the one that we had before, because those were single curve. Now they are curves, but they are connecting to each other. And to draw something like this, you have to use this tool, anchor point tool. But if you will draw, okay, something like this, and then try to go here and take anchor point tool, so what will happen? Your drawing will be like your drawing will be ended. Like Illustrator will end your drawing and it will consider it that it's already finished. But we don't want that. So what you can do is that, let's see. Okay, because if you will, while drawing, if you will go back here to use it, Illustrator will end your drawing. Now let's see how to do that without going over here. Maybe in this lesson we don't need that, but in the other lessons, okay, like not in this part, maybe other parts. Here I will click it, press shift key, move this point up here. I will go here, press it, move down, but this time I don't want a straight line, so I will leave my shift. Manually I will move here. Here, do the same thing, click, drag it here, click here, drag it down. Okay, next I will go here, click, drag it up, and here I will click and drag down. And when my drawing is finished, I will press enter. That's the way you will get a connecting curve like this. Okay, now what if you don't have the those arrows? Without arrows, how we will do? Okay, simple, same way, press. Okay, without, if I will go in this way, it's also fine. Okay, a little bit I want the curve to be here. This handle size have to be the size of this part from here to here. So it's a little hard to calculate, so you just have to eyeball it, and then you know, approximately you can keep the same distance size. Okay, then I will go here, Okay, now go in this direction. If I want, I will continue, go in here, then I will continue from here. Okay, then I will continue from here, then I will continue from here, and when it is done, what I can do is that I can press enter on my keyboard and my drawing is done. Okay, so this is how you can do your continuate like a curve which is continuous, okay, without having a break. Without having a break, you can do with this part. Okay, now a little bit a tricky part here. Let me go to this. Here it's quite different. Why? Because you will notice that it's not a curve like that. Curve is here, okay, but this point wherever the curve is ending, it's like very pointy part. Pointy part means it's like it's a kind of a sharp corner. Okay, now how do you create a sharp corner while you're using a pen tool and you're creating something like a drawing or of a curved lines? Okay, so I will take it from here. Here is where your anchor point tool will work, but we will not come back here, otherwise what will happen, our drawing will be ended. Okay, so without coming back, let's see how we can use it. So I will take my pen tool, click on number 1, move my direction of the line here. Now I will go here on number 2, move my direction of the line here. Okay, now if I will go to 3 and move my direction here, you will notice that this is not what we are looking for. It is entirely different thing. Okay, but how now the question is how I can do this one. Okay, let me undo it. And now what you can do is that to use that anchor point tool without going here, how to bring it on your screen, you just have to press Alt on your keyboard. When you press Alt, your pen tool will become temporarily the anchor point tool. Now what does the anchor point tool do? It can move your single curve like a single handle or point to wherever you want. Like suppose I want this one from the bottom to move up over here. Okay, so if I move it here, what will happen? Both of the handles are here, so the curve, there will be no curve below. There will be only one curve, and if I will go here, you can see that it's making a curve again. Okay, so now if I will press here and click it, drag it here down. Okay, and what I can do here is that I can press and Alt on my keyboard and bring this back on the top. If I will not do that, it will try to create a curve, but that curve will be under and it will not create something like this. Okay, for example, if I go here without bringing this one on the top, if I will try to go here, you can see that it's making a curve underneath. Why? Because this handle is facing downwards. But if I will move it up in the same direction, so there is no below curve. There will be only a curve that is on the top. Okay, and below like there is no curve, and then this point, the connecting point, will be sharper. So I will do one here. Okay, same thing, I will press Alt on my keyboard, move this one up, leave the Alt and click here, and here I will end the drawing by pressing enter. So Alt you have to press, and temporarily the Alt will become your convert point tool, your anchor convert point tool. Then you can use that, then leave your Alt button, and as soon you will leave the Alt button, it will go back to your normal state. Okay, so that's how it will work. Now let's go down here and do without the arrow, so we can learn more. I'll click here, move this up here. Now I will go on the other part, move this down. Now I have to move this one so that the next line will be also a curve from the top. So the bottom one should be removed, so there should be no bottom curve. To do that, I will press Alt on my keyboard, take this one, move it to the same position. Then there will be only a top curve because both of them are on the top. So I press Shift and drag it down here. Okay, do same thing. Alt, move this up so there is no bottom curve. So if I go here, there is no bottom curve. I will press Shift down again. Alt, okay, to move it up here. Again, click. Oops, I think the line got broke for some reason. Alt, move it up here. Then I will click here, move it down. Alt, again I will move it up. Click here, move it down. And once my drawing is finished, I can press enter. Okay. Now it doesn't matter if I want to move it up or down because the drawing is ended. If you want, you can move it, but it won't make any difference because the line is already ended. So this is how you can make curves, advanced curves like this. Because just keep in mind, handle shows the direction. If there is both handles, top and bottom, so the first line will be on the top curve, the next line will be on the bottom curve. Okay. And if you move both handles at the same position, so always the curve will be on that direction. Okay. So even if it is before or next curve, it will be always on in that direction. So that's why we will keep on moving this on the top. So the next line will be not on the bottom, it should be on the top. Okay. Now let's do some advanced stuff. Okay. Here, if you will notice that I have this path. Okay. And here there are some curves and there are as well straight lines. Now how these straight lines I can create? Now this is very tricky part. To make a curve, you already know what to do. Click, okay, and press Shift to make a straight line here. Then leave it. So there is a curve now. I will press here, press Shift and draw it down. Now if I go over here, it will create what? A curve from the bottom. If I will press Alt on my keyboard and move this on the top, okay, and then go here, so it will make a curve. Still it's making a curve, but now on the top. So I don't want curve in any condition, neither the bottom curve nor the top curve. So how I can make a straight line? So what I can do here is that I will without pressing any key on my keyboard, I will take my pen tool and go to this spot, the ending spot. Just notice how my cursor changes. The cursor shows a pen tool and there is a V sort of icon which is upside down V. Now what does this V do? This tells us that here you have the curve. The next line will be curve. Okay, but with this tool, if you will click on this point, the next line will not be curved. The next line will be a straight line. So if I click here with this icon, okay, so you can see that as soon I will do that, okay, let me do again. As soon I will do that, it will remove one of the bottom handles. Okay. Now if I will go to the next, you can see that I don't have any sort of a straight line. Okay, so sorry, I don't have any sort of curve. So I'm making a straight line, which I actually wanted. But now the next line is here a curve. Now if I will click here, okay, for example, and then go to the next line, so it's not making a curve anymore. So how I can make a curve? Okay, if I do something like this or this, it will not make the curve which I'm looking for. Okay, even if I go over here, okay, and then click and drag here, so what will happen? The next line will not get curved, the line before it will get curved. Okay, so now how to do that? It's a bit tricky. So you make a line, and once you make a line, you know the line is now a straight line path. So if I will go on this point, you will see again the same icon. Uh, this is a conversion icon, the upside down V. Before, it converted a smooth curved line to straight line. Now if I will press it, it will change my anticipated or the next line from straight to curve. It will not affect my line which is already created, but it will affect the line which is going to be made later on. Okay, so if I click it once, okay, now it's been made. So if I will go here, okay, and drag it my mouse, okay, just somewhere here, okay, so you can see that it is making a straight. Let me do one thing. Let me zoom it out so you can easily see. Okay, now I already clicked. Now what I have to do, I have to start over again. Not, I don't mean by start over again from one, but from here. Okay, on the same spot, I have to click and drag now, not one time clicks, click and drag. So when I click and drag now, you will notice that it's creating a path. Okay, and now I can draw a curve that I want here, and goes like this. Okay, so I'm done with this part. Now I will do the same thing. I will click here one time. So now line is converted. Now here I will click one time here. Now next line is curved, but it is making a straight line. So what I need to do, I have to press it. So what if I don't press it? I just click and drag my mouse. What happens? If I click and drag, you can see that it is doing the same thing. So you can also click and drag with the shift key. So you can make a straight handle, and next if you will go here, it will make a curve. So either press one time, then click and drag, or directly click and drag, so it will do the same thing. Okay, so it will always affect your next line that is going to be drawn. Okay, now I will go here, click, drag down. Okay, and then I will press enter to end my line. So this is quite a tricky part. Okay, it requires a little practice more. Okay, now I'll go down here, do the same thing without now the arrows. Okay, and it will be a like a revision also. Here I will click and drag with the shift key so I can have a good straight handle. I'll go here, press my mouse button, shift and down. Now next will be straight line. So what I have to do, curved line. So what I have to do, go here, click on this point. It will not affect whatever I have drawn. It will only affect what I'm going to draw. Now I will go here, and with the shift key so I can get a straight line, I can press one time here. Now next line is now what, it's straight. So I don't want that, I want it curved. So again, as I told you, when I click or click and drag, it will not affect whatever is drawn, it will affect what is going to be drawn. So now I want a curve. So instead of pressing one time, what I can do is that I can click and drag with the shift key down, and the next line will be curved. So I will go here, press shift and drag on top. I can have this line. Now this line is curved, so I have to click on it to change the next drawing line, instead of curve to be a straight line. So basically we are converting the next line. Here I will press one time, but now the next line is not a straight line, so I have to click and drag. And once it is done, then I can go here and then click and drag down. And when I'm done, I press enter on my keyboard. So this is how I have my whole line being created. Okay, so this is a bit tricky, but it can make a lot of complex shapes if you know how the lines actually work. So we have created so many of these lines. Okay, any questions so far? Is it all clear? Anyone who has question? Shall I move to the next exercise? Okay. Now I have to close this one so I can open the new file. I'll go to File and open a new one. Okay. Now here you will see that I have a picture of a swan. Okay. Now what is here? I have to create a swan. Okay, with the pen tool. Okay, and in the end it should look like this. Okay, so in the end it should look like this. That's what I have to draw. So I will more focus on the swan. Okay, now here I have layers. To draw I have to be on the artwork layer. Other layers I can lock so it won't disturb these layers. Only I will keep this layer unlocked, the artwork, so I can easily draw here. Now I will take the pen tool and I will start drawing from this. Okay, A. Then I will go to B, C, D, and then I will keep on going. I have these handles to help me in order to create the curve. Okay, like suppose if I will go to A, click and drag this line here. Now next I have to click, okay, and then drag this one on the top. But the next line will be what? The next line will be a curve from the top, but I don't want the curve from the top. I want a curve from the bottom. So instead of keeping this too high or on the top, I have to move it down. Okay, so what I will do here is that I will press my Alt key to get my anchor point conversion tool and drag this handle to this red part. So now the next line I will draw will be a bottom curve, not a top curve. So I will click here. Okay, and as soon I will click here, I will now be able to make a straight line. But I don't want a straight line. I want a curved line. So what was the trick? I have to keep it press and drag this point wherever I want, like suppose here. Now the next line will be a curved line. Okay, now the next line I have to go here in this D part, press here, drag it up, simple, no extra stuff. Okay, but if you will see that, let me zoom out, this is a straight line. Okay, and it's not making a straight line, it's making a top curve because this is on the top. So what I have to do, I have to convert this to simple. I will go to this point, click one time, so the next line will convert it from curve to a straight line. Okay, now I will click here. Now again this line is a straight line, and now I don't want that. I want to convert it again from a straight line to a curved line. So I will go here, click one time, drag my handle on the top because I want the curve to be underneath here. Now the next line it is creating is a curved line, okay, instead of making a straight line. Now I will click it here on F, take this part to here, G, click it here, take this part here. Okay, now next line here is basically a straight line. Okay, now one issue is that because I have turned on this one. Okay, but if I will go here, my line will be ended. So let me see. No, it's fine. Okay, now I have turned off my fill so I can see. Now I want a straight line here. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to press this again on this, so it will on this anchor point, so it will convert this curved line to a straight line. So I will click on this anchor point. Now the next line is a straight line. Now I will click it here, but now the next line again is a straight line, which I don't want. I want it to be a curve, so I have to go back here, click it, drag the handle on the top for the next line. Now the next line will be a curve, so I can press on the I and move it here, okay, to the E part. And here if you will notice that this is creating a very huge curve. Okay, So I don't want that, so I can press Alt on my keyboard and move this anchor point to here. Okay, wait, think. Yeah, I have to go to the this one, yellow line, not the red one. Okay, now if I go here on the J, I have to click it, go back to this red line. Okay, now if you will notice that this curve is quite not the same as we are looking for. So I can bring this yellow one by pressing Alt key to the red. Now you can see that it is matching. Okay, so Alt key you can press anytime to get the moving tool icon, this one, the conversion tool. Okay, now the last one, I have to click on the A and drag this one more outward, because this one will not affect because it's already created. The only thing will affect is the bottom one, which was not created. So I will move this here. Now I'm done with the whole swan here. Okay, now I can play with these settings, but not now because the drawing is now closed. If your drawing is closed, you cannot change anything, because if I will click here to change, okay, it will delete it. Okay, because once your drawing is closed, the Illustrator will consider it as a complete shape. So with that, if you will take your pen tool and go to any point, so you can delete that point, which I don't want. Okay, but if you will go between any point, any segment, like this segment, you can see there is a plus icon instead of minus. Plus means it will add a point. So if I click here, it will add a point. Okay, but if I click again, it will delete a point. So that's what it will do. So now the only tool right now at this stage I can use is that go here, take this one, anchor point tool, or I can press Alt on my keyboard, take this and convert and make it and move it down a little bit here, just like this. Okay, and same as Alt, and with this one, a little bit here. Okay, and now you can see that it have a shape. So what I can do here is that I will hide this template layer where we have this. I will take my artwork layer. I can increase a stroke to like to 2 points, so it will become a little thicker. And now I can put a white color inside. I will take this, choose a white color, the fill white. Okay. Now if I will hide all the layers, like suppose let me hide the wing layer. So there will be a wing here. I think wing is, what is the stroke? Stroke of the wing is around 1. So that means the stroke of the artwork I should keep 1 also, so it should match. Okay. Now it matches, so I can turn on my background layer also, and this is a completed swan. Okay. So is this all clear? Have you understood about this part of your like Illustrator, the pen tool? You need more practice because other like classes is about pen tool. Okay, so next class we will move to lesson 8, and next week 8, and then 9, then 10. So I think by 18th we will finish the lesson 8. Okay, then we will finish 21 9, then 25th we will be finished with the lesson 10. Then you will be able to do your first assignment. So I think I will move your first assignment deadline to 28, so that I will make sure that you cover these assignments, because you should know at all the skills which are from chapter 1 to chapter 10. Then you will be able to do that. Okay, clear everyone? Okay, so that's